So this is the 23:15 hours GMT edition, part B of Khoodeelaar television channel, Thursday, 8th of December 2022, under the broad framework of Baby Angel Geronimo editions. Baby Angel Geronimo's updates are specifically added as well as affected by implication by the contents of the rest of the analysis. Baby Angel Geronimo is the most innocent witness to the land of satanic regime. The Satan personification was, of course, Boris Johnson, and he was in collusion with the Satan, George Injustice Eustace, and Christian Evilness. So these people represent everything that is satanic, everything that is bad, everything that is evil, everything that is untrue, everything that is cruel, lacking in compassion, lacking in empathy, lacking in fairness. Baby Angel Geronimo stands up for all the best universal values of fairness, transparency, compassion, justice, truth, honesty, fairness. And this is the general message, the theme. Every edition of the Khoodeelaar television channel is representative of those values. And Baby Angel Geronimo is the witness as well as the bearer of the flags of all these values. Baby Angel Geronimo was born in New Zealand and was raised by the human called Leonie Walker, who misses him terribly. And Leonie Walker found Baby Angel Geronimo absolutely mischievous. When he was in New Zealand, he was, according to Leonie Walker, he possessed that additional quality that his fellow beings didn't have. So that made it even more difficult for her to say goodbye to him 5 years or so ago. Baby Angel Geronimo arrived in South Gloucestershire in southwest England and was welcomed by a woman called Helen MacDonald. And Helen MacDonald then became the target of torture and harassment as she was unable to understand the venom, the hatred, the lies, the demonization against Baby Angel Geronimo that Christian evilness and others in the depraved DEFRA got up to. So Baby Angel Geronimo has been a witness of all those. And not only those bad things, satanic evil things aimed at him personally, but the same kind of bad values that are aimed at other innocents, such as himself. Humans, animals, and others. There are other beings as well. So Baby Angel Geronimo is the world's bestest Baby Angel Geronimo. And we love him to bits. And we stand up for Baby Angel Geronimo. We stand with him. And Baby Angel Geronimo has been vindicated every single time. Every single time that Boris Johnson has slipped up, Boris Johnson has been exposed and caught lying. For example, this last few days, the degeneration of the state, that Boris Johnson apparently led is occurring every single day. And no matter what the gloss they put on this, the gloss is coming off. And the main liar at depraved DEFRA, George Injustice Eustace, has been forced to confess that he has no choice but to tell the truth. Can you imagine? Think about that. Effectively, what George Injustice Eustace has been forced to confess is that he has no choice left but to tell the truth. That is to say, he has told too many lies. Too many lies, even for the liar, depraved DEFRA, Eustace Injustice. Now, it's only a matter of time before Christian evilness will be publicly exposed for her poisonous lies, scheming, criminality, and bringing the call of veterinary surgery into serious, severe disrepute. And the curses of all these innocent members of the animal kingdom that have been violated by Christian evilness, the curses will catch up with her and they will be exposed as liars. The disclosures in Matthew Hancock's COVID-19 diaries, of course, have been sensationally overrepresented in Michelle, the parliamentary kind of prostitute parliaments personification of greed and evil and moaning. But Michelle moaning is not the only bad one in the house of pimps and prostitutes. There are others. And those others will also be actually exposed in time. Because as the battle continues and gets fiercer by the day, among the conservative so-called MPs, as to how and which way and when they should quit, it is clear that they're looking for any kind of excuse to make a getaway. Why are they so full of embarrassment and shame? Why are they so unable to justify what they did as members of the supporting club when the criminals like Boris Johnson and others defied justice, the call of duty, the truth, and mocked the concept of kindness and fairness? These are the facts every single day. One of the criminals, either it's Matt Hancock or even Rishi Sunak, because Rishi Sunak was praised yesterday for bringing some kind of boring sanity back to the Conservative Party. But that didn't last at all, because the way they're actually confronting the people in poverty, they're pushed into poverty, while they allow the likes of Michelle moaning hundreds of millions of pounds of public money. And there is no sign at all that the prostitutes and pimps and others of their ilk are due to be prosecuted anytime soon. In fact, while this is all going on, all these disclosures going on, and the members of the Conservative Party in the House of Commons run around looking for excuses as to how to stage the their excuse, their pretext on why they are not going to stand for election at the next general election. I mean, that is how exhausted and how degenerated and how totally discredited these criminals have become. And all these criminals, all their crimes put together were aimed at baby angel Geronimo, the most innocent, the healthiest baby angel Geronimo on the face of the earth. So baby angel Geronimo has a unique position. He knows more of the evidence and more of the perpetration and the perpetrators, pathetic, poisonous, evil beings. So baby angel Geronimo will be sharing the insights and the perceptions on how to stop the shaitan ruling over millions of people in this country. So that's baby angel Geronimo, the theme, the narrative. The baby angel Geronimo was born in New Zealand, raised by a woman called Leonie Walker, who loves him. And baby angel Geronimo, in good faith, arrived in England and was welcomed by a woman called Helen MacDonald in South Gloucestershire, who loves him as much as any human could do. So we are with baby angel Geronimo all the way, and we uphold him, and we are absolutely determined to continue bearing witness along with baby angel Geronimo to the degeneration, the fragmentation, the ultimate exposure of the criminals. Boris Johnson, Dominic Ly's son, Nigel Ly's son's lying son, Dominic Ly's son, Private Ly's midget, Ian Pissoff, and assorted other criminals who have not got the slightest idea about the planet, about climate, about compassion, and about the dignity and the pacific mission that are in the persons of the likes of baby angel Geronimo. Pacific mission to bring on this earth, to this earth, a kind of alternative to the evilness that human beings get up to, as baby angel Geronimo has been witnessing. So we hear about other things in the course of every edition before the edition is recorded, broadcast. Another point that I made earlier in the first part of today's edition, I'm going to reiterate this. We don't have friends. We don't seek friends. We don't want friends. For the simple reason that on the internet, friends most of the times don't actually substantiate the concept, the value of friendship. And there is no enlightenment. There is no curiosity for the truth. Most of the people are zombified. And so therefore there is a pattern of zombification. And zombified exchanges appear more often than not. So if there are too many zombie expressions by so-called friends, then that takes up an awful lot of time to deal with and debunk, thus making us unable to do the necessary work for the substantial work of the broadcast. That's why we don't want any friends. People may think that we don't have friends. We've got, every day we reject so many suggestions which comes up automatically. If we accepted these suggestions, we would have tens of thousands of friends now and supporters and all the other things. The comparison is with the Charlie Marx work, Karl Marx, sitting in the British Library in Bloomsbury, which is now not situated in Bloomsbury, but it is situated in Euston, some distance to the northeast of the Bloomsbury location, original location where Karl Marx, Charlie Marx, as I call him, did his work. Just think about this, each edition as a volume of work that we are doing. So you can consult it. We don't have to flog it, we don't have to spread it, we don't have to publicize it. You look for it and you find it. And it is plenty full of stuff that uniquely uniquely contained in the Khoodeelaar television channel broadcasts. Original, world exclusive original, up to date and absolutely truthful. So that is the kind of version and this part B of why we don't have friends and followers and all the rest of it. Now about the role that this Harry Windsor and Meghan Markle are playing in the parallel kind of controversies that they are involved in, either as subjects or as narrators. And whatever the motivation and whatever the actual day-to-day kind of reasons for the particular issuing of the particular statements, things like Harry's words that Buckingham Palace didn't appreciate, that their racism, the monarchy didn't appreciate that the racism was actually inciting hatred against Meghan Markle to a point where her safety was being endangered. Now that may sound as an ordinary statement, but it's not. It's an ordinary statement, that is true, but it's an extraordinary phenomenon happening because this is what all these people victimized by racists in the UK for hundreds of years have said. But it hasn't got, that kind of statement hasn't got the profile that the mainstream media is prepared to give to anything that Harry Windsor and Meghan Markle say, which, for the purpose of circulation and publicity, and for the purpose of people really getting to think about these, is a contribution that should have been made long time ago, and it is being made late, but it is not bad. It is absolutely overwhelmingly a good thing because, for example, when Wallis Simpson, another American woman, Wallis Simpson got involved with the uncle of Brenda's. I mean, the reason why Brenda became queen in the first place was to do with Wallis Simpson. And Brenda's mother, the Queen mother, played a particularly nasty, systematic scheming role against Wallis Simpson, to a point where Wallis Simpson found it unbearable to exist in England, exist in the royal family's kind of circle, neighborhood. So her and her lover, the king, had to go. Well, exactly what Harry and Meghan have done. The only difference is that Wallis Simpson did not create, and she wasn't living at an age that had the kind of appeal and the reach in the mass media that Harry and Meghan are able to make use of. And imagine, I mean, what is happening here is that today's headlines, I mean, the headlines is a scum, or the item in the scum in the Daily Mail says that Diana's elder son, Harry's elder brother, William, is not going to watch the Netflix documentary. It may sound quite dignified, but it's not. It's an absolute admission that William, Prince of Wales now, doesn't know where to run, to hide. He hasn't got anything to say. While the main commentary is being made by Harry, helped by Meghan. Think about that. This is why the millions of people in Britain, little England, are absolutely distraught. They don't know how it happened, because Harry and Meghan left the monarchy and were shunned, and they were berated, and they're still berated today. But essentially, they are the ones who are drawing the attention, the main attention. They are occupying the main platform. Doesn't William have got any brains? Doesn't King Brian, have any brains? Because if they had any brains, they would initiate a peace settlement with Harry and Meghan. Whether those two remain in the USA or not is another matter, but a peace settlement. And confess. And confess and confess. Privately, let's say privately, confess to Harry and Meghan and seek their forgiveness. That would have salvaged King Brian and his son Williams. And it could just about save the monarchy in some form. But as they are not going to do that, the monarchy is done for. That's it. They don't seem to understand that the monarchy is being sunk by them, not by Harry and Meghan. So this narrative, this commentary is going to continue and will continue for obvious factual reasons. And as I said in the last few days, Brenda was in the throne or on the throne for 70 years. That is true. But for 70 years, she aided and abetted racists, imperialists, colonialists. She hasn't got a legacy of opposing racism. And this woman, the black woman that was on television in the probably the last 48 hours, saying to the two persons that I didn't catch the names of, and she said in a 1 minute clip that I saw in the afternoon on Thursday, the 8th of December, 2022, she kept saying very clearly and truthfully to those two individual white persons, you cannot tell me what racism is. That's it. White persons are not victims of racism. And they cannot tell black persons what racism is, let alone where black persons come from. So all of this is happening that should not have happened in the way that this is all happening. If King Brian had better consultants and advisors than the morons of the Daily Mail and the Scum and the Daily Express and all the rest of it. They are not fit for purpose. They are not fit to call themselves a dignified monarchy. They are not. And the monarchy is done for, as I said. Only a matter of time before the monarchy, in effect, disappears. In effect, disappears. It may linger on in name. But that's it. The monarchy will have lost all the appeal, and the most important appeal that the monarchy could kind of expect to exert was a moral one. And there is no morality in being racist. And there is no morality in being caught being racist. I mean, for heaven's sake, Suzanne Hussey. I mean, how closer can they get? Or should they get? She is Williams's godmother. And they're saying, some of the racists are saying in Fleet Street today, that if Diana were around, she would be appalled by Harry's behavior. No, she won't. She would do the same thing. She has done the same thing, for heaven's sake. So those morons who compare Diana wrongly say that she would be taking the side of the new Prince of Wales, Williams. They don't know even the basic facts that happened in the last 30 years. So we shall be continuing, keeping an eye, along with baby angel Geronimo, who is the main witness and the leader of our campaign, the baby angel Geronimo. So that is one thing. The other thing that has happened during the day, within the general framework of our narratives and our commentary, is that there is an awareness, belated awareness about social kind of issues that have been created by the dysfunction of the government, dysfunction of the parliament, British parliament, and the dysfunction of the judiciary. I mean, there is this acknowledgement that serious harm is coming to be suffered by millions of people who are in poverty, hardship, and lack of amenities and so on. How much worse should it get before the likes of Rod Liddell and other criminals realize that their intolerance of Meghan, their Pierce Morron's intolerance of Meghan, these are not strengths, these are their weaknesses. So the platform is being created for Meghan and Harry by their attackers. And their attackers are committing dynastic suicide and the historic suicide, and they're destroying what it is to be, quote, English. I mean, English should not be reduced to being pathetic, unwilling, unfit, etc., etc. The whole idea about the UK economy suffering serious damage every single day because it has got no connection with the main economy collectively, or the economies that is to be available through the UK's membership of the European Union. I mean, this is not some kind of joke. Now, people are even the people who voted for Brexit are now in a minority, and the minority is getting even larger in terms of the kind of people turning to wishing that the UK remained in the European Union. Some are even saying that let's join the European Union again. Now that is something, a fatal error was made, as I said at the time that it was being made. Because joining the UK, joining the European Union is going to be a very difficult task. Not because there is lack of awareness about Britain, but there is a lack of confidence in Britain's fitness. That is the real problem. When you look at the likes of George Galloway, who literally begged Nigel Farage to give him, George Galloway, a Farage ticket so that Galloway could taunt the Labour Party and stand in Peterborough by election. I mean, where is the pit? Where is the lowest of the low level of stupidity that George Galloway has reached or has been exposed as having reached? It was the same George Galloway who issued highly exaggerated threats that he would snatch many council seats from the Labour Party at the 2006 council elections in Newham. And they got pathetic numbers. And the same thing he said about the 2010 parliamentary election for Poplar and Limehouse, next door to Bethnal Green and Bow. And he said, George Galloway, that he is standing against the then incumbent Labour MP, Poplar and Limehouse, Jim Fitzpatrick, was like the Battle of the Scots. Fuck the Scots. These Scots who kind of ingratiate themselves to the racist Englanders are not warriors. These are suckers. Galloway is a sucker. Jim Fitzpatrick is a sucker. Michael Gove is a sucker. Norman Lamont is a sucker. Andrew Neil is a sucker. All these suckers do not make even one warrior. And George Galloway was rebuffed by Nigel Farage, who didn't even mention George Galloway during that particular Peterborough election commentary. And here was George Galloway speaking in November 2014 at the Mile End Water Lily Centre, boasting that he, George Galloway, was the actual leader for any, as be prepared for the corrupt word, inappropriate word that he used. That he, George Galloway, was the leader who made it possible for any Bengali to become a member of Parliament of the British House of Commons. That was such a loaded pack of lies that if I condemn it every single day, there would not be enough condemnation. Ungrateful, ingrate George Galloway. I mean, a white man saying that he is against other white people because they are racist and he is not. I mean, it's a very difficult thing to convince people about his sincerity. And he never was a genuine opponent of racism at all, as he proved. I mean, when he denounced the people of Bradford West and targeted a locally born and bred Asian, Pakistani origin, or Kashmir origin Muslim woman Labour Party politician, George Galloway came across as completely naked. No substance, no shame, and he brought himself to indescribable disrepute. So baby angel Geronimo is witness to all of this and similar antics by similar creepy individuals of George Galloway's description. We shall be talking about Shamima Begum and Town Council in the next edition. We are holding this one, we're coming to a close to this one, 36 minutes.